Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Very good afternoon to all the participants and wish you all a happy new year. As we have entered a new year, everything new always prompts us to go further to upskill ourselves in this new year. So, if we have to upskill ourselves as faculty, as employees, we need to constantly do new things, learn new things. And research is exactly that, learning new things, trying to find out new things. So, let us try to understand what research skills are. So, my topic consists of all these aspects: introduction, definition, how to start, the next step, process, scrap test, execution, terms to know, data collection, types, methods to, tools, and conclusion. Okay, structure and conclusion. Yeah. So let us try to understand what research is. Research is a careful investigation or inquiry, especially through the search for new facts in any branch of knowledge. Okay, let us try to understand each word carefully. Research is a careful investigation. Research always tries to investigate and find new things. And how can we find new things? Only when we inquire about it, only when we search about it, we will be able to find new things. Especially to the search for new facts. Always we should keep updating ourselves and we should always keep updating our skills. Okay, so this search for new facts in any branch of knowledge is called research. Next. Research is defined as the creation of knowledge or the use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way so as to generate new concepts, methodologies, and understandings. Okay. Research is defined as the creation of knowledge. So, research means actually two aspects are there. First one is creating new knowledge. Second one is using the existing knowledge in a new way. So, both are there. Sometimes when we research, we find new things. Sometimes when we research, we try to improve what is already there. So, both are considered research. It is the creation of new knowledge or the use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way. When we are researching something, we are using our creative faculties. Means creative faculties are the highest order of thinking skills. So we are using creative faculties when we do research. And this research will help us to generate new concepts. So we can create new concepts, we can create new methodologies, and we can create new understandings. So when we create new concepts, it will help 100 more people to research on that. When we create new methodologies, it will help 100 more people to teach better, to do better. So, research always helps not only ourselves but the entire community of researchers or educators or in any other field also. So, research is of a very prime importance in our lives, professional lives. Okay, next. How to start? Now, how do we start research? See, always I hear many of my students coming and asking me, "Ma'am, I want to do research in a particular subject. Can you please tell me how to go about it?" Then I will ask them these questions, the questions that are given here. What do you know? What do you know in the sense, what do you know about the topic which you are going to select? First, we need to have that in our mind. Which topic am I going to work on? Which area or which subject I'm going to take up? So that is the first question you have to put to yourself. You have to take a paper or if you're using a computer, you have to take a new Word document and try to jot down all these points. Think very carefully which topic you want to select. Okay, which area interests you a lot? Suppose it is some area regarding AI, or it is some area regarding machine learning, or it is some area regarding some mathematical concept or some science concept. Whichever concept you are taking, first try to know that particular topic. Okay. Then after that, the next thing you have to do is what is the timeline? Now, as soon as you think of a topic, first read about it. Read about it carefully and read about it intensely. Go deeper into the subject and try to see what it is all about. You can use any number of sources. You can go to library, or you can, nowadays mostly most of us going to our Google. Okay, so delve into the topic deeply and try to learn as much as you can about that subject. Okay, when you have grasped something about that subject, then you sit and you note down those points. And then you see the next step is the timeline. What is the timeline? Timeline means who all worked on this topic. Okay, when you start working, you should always check that how many people have worked on this topic more than you. Okay, there might be so many predecessors, isn't it? All over the world, thousands of people are doing research. So definitely there will be someone who is doing the same topic as you. So try to find out who they are, what they are, because everything is published on internet, isn't it? So try to see the databases which has the thesis, different thesis on different subjects. So you select your topic and look at all those theses. See what they have done, and you note down that those what are the key concepts they have worked on. You please note down that also. Why should we do this? I will explain to you later. Okay. But this is the step you have to remember. First, you read about your topic, and second, you read about all the theses which have been worked on your own topic. That's the second point. Now, the third point is what is the span? Now, see the topic without any bias. See the topic without any bias and determine how far can I work on this? How much can I work on this? So, if I am taking this concept, can I do this completely? Is it possible to do? Do we have any problems regarding that? Is it feasible for me with my time, with my energy, with my resources? Will I be able to do justice to this? These questions you have to ask yourself first before starting. Okay, so write down all these things and identify. Next step is identify the keywords. See, every article, every journal article, you see there are keywords that are given there. Keywords will help you in searching on Google. Okay, so always write down the keywords for your topic. Okay, what are the key aspects in your topic? Those things you please write down and keep. Okay, next do the mind map. So, as I told you, when you think of the span, you should think of all the aspects without any bias. I told, no? You have to think of the possibilities, impossibilities. You have to think about your energy, all these things, isn't it? So, all those things you do as a mind map. You see the topic. Mind map is a very simple process. You just take the concept which you are taking. For example, I am taking the concept of education. Okay. So I put the word education and I draw the mind map. What is mind map? Thinking about all the words that will tell you about education. For example, if I am talking about education, all the related words would be teaching, pedagogy, methodologies, methods, curriculum, assessment. So all these things are related to education, isn't it? So this is the mind map for education. So like that, for any topic you take, you draw the mind map. Take all the relevant or related concepts tied to that main keyword. Okay. So like that, you draw a mind map. And after drawing mind map, you can think about it individually, each and every aspect, and then you can select what you want to work on. Suppose, as I have told, again, the example of education, I have told a few words, isn't it? So among all the words, I can relate myself more to curriculum. Okay. So then I would think of working on curriculum. So working on curriculum will be my key topic. So if I am working on curriculum, I should think about the feasibility of it. I should also think about who all worked before me on curriculum. I should learn what curriculum is, how many types of curriculums are there, how we can execute a curriculum. All these things will come. Okay, that is how mind maps help us. And after doing that, write it in sentences. Just write sentences. What would be the impact of curriculum? How can good curriculum impact the students? And what type of curriculum is needed for this level of students? And what are the drawbacks of a curriculum? So like this, you can think of different sentences which are connected to your topic. And among all these sentences, you select one which resonates with you, which you can connect with, which you want to work on. So like that you select and then you start research with that. So that particular sentence that you have chosen will be the key point for your whole research. It can be your research paper, it can be your thesis, or it can be a mini project, anything. For anything, this is how you have to work on. These are the first key guidelines for you to start off your research. Okay? Now, all these points I have taken from a book called Craft of Research. Okay? Yeah. So, this is how the initiation to the research starts. Now, let us see the next process. The next step. What is the next step? The next step is first you have to do broad reading on the subject. Suppose I have chosen curriculum. I'll go with the same example so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so I have chosen the topic of curriculum. So what will I do? First thing I should do is take different sources on curriculum. See what I can learn about curriculum and different types of curriculum and how they are executed and how curriculum is formed in different places, how it was previously in previous sessions and how it is now and how it is evolving in future. All these things broadly I have to read first. Okay, broadly after reading, I should keep taking points, notes, important quotations, all these things I should keep taking and putting them in files. So always, whatever you read, you make a paraphrase of it, put it in the notes. So you have to maintain regular notes when you're doing research because this will help you very, very much. Okay. And whatever you are noting down, you have to note down which place you have read that, who was the author, which book or which website it was published, what was the date it was published, and how you have accessed this. All these things will come under citations. Okay. So mostly for all arts and humanities subjects, you have MLA citations. And for technical subjects, you have IEEE citations. So depending on your field of knowledge, you take and keep the citations regularly because otherwise later on it becomes very difficult. Okay. So when we do PhD also, this is what our supervisors have told us. So whenever you make notes, make this a point to note down all the details about that part of knowledge. Okay. So like that, you broadly read on that subject, you take notes. Next, you use databases. There are different databases all over the world. I will talk about them in later slides. So I'm not going deeper into that right now. Okay. So use different knowledge databases that are available all over the world and do literature review. Okay. What is literature review? I have already told you that in the previous slide that when you start your thesis, always see and search what all people have done before you. There will be so many people working on the same subject, isn't it? So that all comes under literature review. Literature review also I'm going to discuss later on. And next, crab test. Crab test also I'm going to discuss later on in detail. Okay, next. Yeah, the process. Now let us understand what the process is. Okay. Now, I have told you to look at different databases that are available all over the world, isn't it? So data is available in various forms. You can find data in books, you can find data in journals, you can find data on internet, you can find data on blogs, interviews, you can take films, you can take paintings, you can take oral interviews that you can conduct directly with people, or you can take surveys or online quiz like that also. All these things are acceptable in research, provided you give proper valid information. Okay. So what are the databases? Let us try to understand. There are two types of databases, free databases and paid databases. Free databases anybody can access. Paid databases are again two types. One is one type of paid databases. You have to take individual subscription. For some, you have to take institutional subscription. So individual subscription is very pricey because everything comes in dollars. It comes up to a lot of amount. So in institution subscriptions are easier because the institution can pay for it and everybody in the institution can use it, any number of people, because they will have only one pass and they will give access to everybody in that institution. They just have to put a password, that's it. So mostly researchers depend on institutional subscriptions. I have done my research based on individual subscriptions mostly. Okay, so Scopus, PubMed, Web of Science, Gestor, ERIC, Science Direct, IEEE Explore, Cinehill, Business Source Complete, PsycInfo, Directory of Open Access Journals, and Journ. These are all different databases that are available. Scopus, I mean PubMed, as it tells you, it is for medical sciences. Web of Science is for sciences, of course. Scopus, Gestor, ERIC, all subjects. They cover every subject. Science Direct again covers only science. IEEE Explore is for all technical subjects. Sinahel also on subjects. Business Source Complete, mainly business journals. PsycInfo is for psychology. Directory of Open Access Journals, again all subjects, and Journ also all subjects. So like that, these are only few I have mentioned. There are still many more in Google. If you can search, you can find out many more. Okay. So depending on your subject, depending on your necessity, you can go to these databases and collect lots of important information. Okay. Next is literature review. Let us try to understand what literature review is. Literature review, as I have told, it discusses about the history of your topic. Means where this topic has started, how many people have worked on this topic, and how many aspects of these topic they have worked on. So this will give you a, a kind of weightage and a kind of validity for your research, because it tells you very clearly and systematically that what you have worked on and what others have worked on and in which way yours is different. Okay, next please. Yeah, crap test. Crap test means C means currency, R means relevance, A means authority, next A means accuracy, and P means purpose. So currency means the timeliness of the information, means it with which time this information was researched on. At that time, what were the theories that were prevalent? At that time, what historical conditions were there? What economic conditions were there? What is sociological conditions were there? For example, if I am taking curriculum again, the timeliness would be what will be the curriculum during our ancient times. We had Gurukulas, isn't it? That time curriculum was not written. It was in the mind of the teacher. Whatever the teacher or the guru wanted to impart, he made his own plan and he taught it in his own way according to the needs of the students. So that was the curriculum at that time. Later on, when the British introduced English education in India, curriculum was designed by them. They thought what they wanted from us. The main reason they have given us English education is they wanted people to work for them. They wanted local people to work for them to do all the clerical jobs. So mainly it was based on clerical needs. Okay, so that is why curriculum was designed in that way. Now, in the present situation, we are living in a technically dominated world, isn't it? So that is why most of our subjects are in tune with technology. How we can use technology, how we can make our students ready to use technology to create new technology, isn't it? So now curriculum is more in tune with that. So like that, the currency of the topic keeps changing. Next, relevance. Relevance is how it fits your needs, how curriculum helps us. See, there are some some educational institutions which don't have a curriculum at all. Okay, they have only broad outline. Depending on the students, the teachers and students are free to create for themselves. Okay, there are such open education resources nowadays. And even in previous ages also, in some institutions, this was followed. They didn't have any strict curriculum. Okay, so it depends on the relevancy, means it depends on the people who are studying. Next, authority. Who is the source of this information? Okay, who is the source of creating curriculum? Institutions like UGC or technical education, AICTE, all these things are there, isn't it, in India? Those, like for schools, we have NCERT, we have state boards. So these are the institutions that design the syllabus, that are the authority on the syllabus because they conduct the exams. Okay, next, accuracy. How far this particular topic is correct. See, when we do research, there cannot be a scope for error. You have to be very careful what you put in your research because it is questionable and you have to prove it also. And if you are unable to prove it, you will not be successful as a researcher. So, whatever you do, whatever you study, whatever you are putting in your research, it should be accurate, it should be reliable. And next, purpose. What is the purpose of your research? Is it going to help someone? Is it going to better the curriculum? Is it going to help students in next generation? So these are the questions that come under purpose. So this is the CRAP test. We will discuss these aspects more elaborately in the coming slides. Okay? Execution. Now I have given you the blueprint, isn't it? Now this blueprint, how are we going to execute it? How are we going to execute? First is currency, time and update. Okay. As I told you, whatever piece of information that you're taking, please note the time. Which time this was posted on internet, which time this article was written, which time this thesis was done. This is very important. You have to understand about the time because it keeps changing. Because what the theories were in 1860, they were not there in 1960 and they won't be there in 2016, 2060 because everything keeps changing, everything keeps updating. Especially in the fields of science, technology, things get updated very fast. Sometimes within the span of 1 month, they might have done some other update, isn't it? So that is why you have to always see how exactly updated knowledge are you putting into your research. If you put something which was written somewhere 6 years before, it won't be correct. Okay, so always you have to see to it that whatever knowledge or whatever concept that you are taking in your research, it should be up to the mark. It should be current. It should be contemporary. Okay, next is relevance. Always see whatever you're writing, it should be able to connect with the audience. See, I'm talking here today. I should be able to connect with you, isn't it? I should be able to give my ideas to you. I should be able to make you think. I should be able to make you understand, isn't it? Without that, there is no use of doing all these things. Like that, your research also should be able to connect with people. It should be able to help somebody in some way. It should be able to update knowledge in some way. Otherwise, it won't be of any use. Okay. Next is your research should be able to help others' research also. That is called cross reference. Sometimes, when we write articles, we should put them on websites so that other people, other researchers can see that they can take inspiration from that, they can take quotations from that, and it can help them in their research. So if we have posted some article, within 1 or 2 years, you can see that other people have already quoted it. Okay, those quotations also you can see. So like that, your research should be helpful to somebody somewhere. Okay. And authority. As I told you, whenever you take anything in your research, be very careful about the author, publisher, URL, contact information, etc. All these things should be correct. You can't take just anything, just any writing and take it, make it a part of your research. No, it can't be done like that. You should be very careful to see whether the author is credible. Sometimes what happens on internet is somebody posts something some 5 or 6 years before, and after that there will be no updation to it, and there are no comments about it, and it will be just like that, stale. So if you take such pieces of information, it will be harmful for your research. You should be very careful. Whenever you take a source, you should be very careful to check these things because otherwise your research won't be credible. Okay, so always go for sources which are well recognized and respected all over the world. I have told you about the databases, isn't it? Those are the standard databases. So the information which comes from those standard databases is correct because they keep updating every day. Okay, so only such sources you have to select. Don't select sources which have suspicious information or which are published on suspicious sites. Okay. Next, purpose. What is the purpose of your research? Is it commercial? Does it have any commercial angle? Does it have any sensitive information? Now let me explain these two. Commercial angle. Some people, they do research and they sell data to others, to other big companies, or suppose you're doing a survey. They do the survey and they can sell it to some marketing people or like that, isn't it? Yeah. But research, as researchers, we have to be ethical, because research is something which is strictly confined to education. So please don't make your research commercial. After your research, you can approach, after finishing your research, after finishing your thesis, then you can go for commercial benefits. Then you can go approach, you can get it printed, you can have negotiations and you can use it commercially, no problem with that. But during research, we have to be very careful. Okay. Next, sensitive information. Sometimes there are some kinds of information which may hurt the sentiments of other people. So whenever we do research, we have to think of this also very clearly. Whatever we are writing, we are responsible for it, isn't it? So if I am writing something which is hurting someone, I have to take responsibility for that. And I should not be allowed to do that. Okay? So whatever you put in your research, please take care that it will not hurt anybody's sentiments. Okay? Next. Terms to know. Now, whenever we go for research, many people get many doubts. Okay. They often come across the words like this: problem statement, research question, research hypothesis, research objective. So everybody will be wondering what they are, what they actually mean, how they are relevant to my topic. These sort of questions all of us get. So I thought it is better to explain these terms very clearly so that it will help you in your research. Okay. So the first term I would like to explain is the problem statement. So for every research, this is the key point. The key point is the problem statement. Problem statement is the particular aspect on which you are working. Okay. So problem statement is the issue on which you're working on, the ideal situation, reality, gaps, solutions. Now let me give you an example. Let me choose the topic of social media. Okay. Social media is something which we all use nowadays, irrespective of the age, isn't it? Right from grandmothers down to little children, everybody is using social media in their own way. Okay. But as educators, as teachers, we always have the concern that social media is diverting our students. It is creating lot of problems for them. So they are not able to concentrate on studies and they are wasting time. So these are some of the issues that we have about our students using social media, isn't it? It's a very common problem, which we all know about. So let me take that as an example and explain problem statement. Okay. So if we are talking about social media, the problem statement will be, is the social media affecting our students? That is the problem. Yeah, that is the problem statement. Now, what is the ideal situation? The ideal situation is the students can use social media in a very limited time so that it won't affect their studies. So that is the ideal situation. Okay, reality. What is the reality? The students don't follow that. They use social media more than necessary. That is the reality, isn't it? So what is the gap? The gap is between Students using mobile phone very carefully and students using mobile phone too much. So that is the gap between the ideal situation and the reality. Okay. Next, solutions. What solutions can we offer? The first solution we can offer is we should ban devices from schools and colleges. Okay. They can carry the phone, but you can confiscate it. You can make them deposit in a separate box or something. That's what we do usually. We ask the mentors to collect and keep phones with them till the student leaves the institution. Before leaving the institution, they can take their phone and go home. And of course, in lunchtime, if they want to talk with their parents, they can use it for some time and give it back to the mentor. Okay, so this is the solution. Okay, so the problem statement is how badly it was affecting. Ideal situation is what is the best way to use it. Reality is how bad it is. And we are providing solution at the end. So this is the problem statement. Like this, for every topic, you have to take the issue, you have to take the ideal situation, you have to take the reality, and finally you have to give the solution. So like this, the problem statement revolves. The next thing is research question. What is the research question? See, topic, there are some aspects of the topic. Suppose if I am using again the example of social media, so the social media is your problem statement. But research question is, am I working on if I am working on the impact of the phones on the students, that is one aspect. I can research on the impact of telephone on the parents, that is another aspect. If I can research on the impact of social media on people buying new things, people see different things on Instagram and buy, isn't it? On different platforms. Yeah. So that will be the business aspect of it. So if I'm talking about the effect of social media on the minds of the kids, so then I am talking about the psychological aspect of it. So the same topic, you'll be taking it in different ways, isn't it? So that is your research question. You're taking a problem statement and trying to put it in a specific aspect. That specific aspect is the research question. Okay, next is research hypothesis. Hypothesis, as all of you know, is about prediction. See, when we hypothesize something, we create an imaginary scenario and say this is how it's going to be. Okay, social media. How it will be in 10 years. In 10 years, maybe social media will be so prevalent that we buy everything seeing social media only. It can be like that. Or maybe it. There won't be social media selling at all. People will buy directly because there is lot of AI now, isn't it? So maybe people can just think they want to buy and the object will come home. Just by thinking you can order. You need not even press anything. You just think and things will happen. Yeah, it sounds very absurd right now, but it won't be something surprising in future because it is very much possible with AI, isn't it? So research hypothesis means how your research is going to affect others, how your research is going to affect that field. So that is the kind of prediction. Okay. And this prediction, you can do it in a single way. Means you can predict, suppose I am taking curriculum as an example, you can predict how curriculum will be in 10 years. That is the single way. So, or else you can take curriculum from this age and curriculum which was there in the British time and compare both. That is also one kind of research. Or you can give an alternate. You can take curriculum now and you can say the alternate form is not having curriculum at all. I have discussed this previously, isn't it? So you can do it that way also. And or you can take curriculum and take statistics of it. How many percentage of students want curriculum? How many percentage of students don't want curriculum? How many percentage of students benefited from the curriculum? How many percentage of students did not benefit from the curriculum? Like this, you can do statistical analysis also. Okay, so research hypothesis can help you do single studies, comparative studies, alternative studies, or statistical studies. So in all these aspects, you can do research. Finally, what is the research objective? Research objective means what you wish to achieve by this research. What is the final end product that you want to have? You want to influence someone, you want to help someone, you want to create a data, a very tangible data for some aspect. Yeah. I want through research, I want to show how curriculum is important to education, how it is helping others, isn't it? How it is helping the students. So if I am able to do that, I am successful in my research. So that will be your research objective. Okay, I am just telling the example of curriculum. There can be many more aspects. So please don't think that it will be limited only to this. I am using the example only to make you all understand what it is. Okay, so these are the terms: problem statement, research question, research hypothesis, and research objective. Problem statement is telling about the issue on which you are working on. Research question is exact aspect on which you are working on. Research hypothesis means predicting something. And finally, research objective means the goal, the final goal that you want to reach. Okay, I hope it is clear to all now. Next, please. Data collection. Now, this is the next aspect, a very interesting aspect in research. Let us try to understand what data collection is. Yes, please. Next, please. Yeah, data collection. Data collection is the process of collecting and evaluating information or data from multiple sources and find answers to research problems. Okay. Now, for every research, data is the most important thing. Without data, we cannot proceed with our research, because data is required to analyze, to find out new things, or to create new things. Okay, so that is why data is very important, and it is the first job of the researcher to collect this data. Okay, how we are going to collect this data? We have to collect data, and not just collect, we have to evaluate also. Evaluate means to see whether it is correct or not, to see whether it is suitable to us or not. So that is evaluation. And how is data taken? It is taken from multiple sources, not just one source, but different sources. And why are we collecting all these data? To find answers for our research problem. Whatever research problem that you have taken, you have to find answers, solutions for that through data. Okay, next. Yeah, types of data. Now let us understand how many types of data are there. There are two types of data collection methods: primary data and secondary data. Primary data is the most important aspect of the data. Okay. So primary data can be qualitative and quantitative, two types of data. Okay. Now what is qualitative? What is quantitative? Qualitative data is based on the feelings, opinions, and feedback. Now, when we are researching, sometimes we have to conduct interviews, surveys, we have to take opinions of people to support what we are writing. Suppose I am talking about curriculum. Again, I am giving the same example. I am talking about curriculum. So if I am talking about the curriculum, I should take the opinions of who? The teachers who are teaching, the people who are making, the board of directors or the board of studies, those people who are creating the curriculum. Next, the students who are studying the curriculum. And next, the valuation experts, the people who correct these answer sheets. Those people I have to talk to. And finally, the parents who have invested money and put the students in the school to obtain results. So all these people I have to interview, I have to take their opinions and feedbacks if I am doing research on curriculum. Okay. So all these people I have to interview and understand their feelings and opinions, isn't it? All that comes under qualitative data. Now, quantitative data. What is quantitative data? Quantitative data is numbers and calculations. Means how many percentage of people are following NCRT curriculum? How many percentage of people are following the state board curriculum? How many percentage of people have their own curriculum in their institutions without any affiliation? So all these numbers and calculations, all these percentages, all these mode, mean, all these things come under quantitative data. Okay. Now let us talk about secondary data. What is secondary data? Secondary data is nothing but the data curriculum written in different books. See, if I am learning about curriculum by talking with people who are using it, that is primary data. If I am talking about curriculum which is written by somebody 50 years ago in a book, that is secondary data because that is past. All the past data comes under secondary data. Okay. Now, when we collect secondary data, we have to go to databases. We have go to books. We have to go to journals. We have to go to old notes and all those things which are taken by previous teachers, previous educators, etc. Okay. So these are the two types. Basically, there are two types, primary data and secondary data. Of course, qualitative data, which depends on feelings, and quantitative data, which depends on numbers and calculations. So this is about data collection. Next, please. Yeah. Now, what are the methods of data collection? Now, we have understood what is data and how it is collected. Now, how, what are the various methods through which we can take data? These are the methods: forms and questionnaires, interviews, observation, documents and records, focus groups, oral histories, combination research, online tracking, online marketing analytics, and social media monitoring. Now let us try to understand these terms in the upcoming slides. Next, please. Yeah, methods. Let us discuss what methods are. Forms and questionnaires. Forms and questionnaires, I think it is self-explanatory. Just have to make a form regarding your research topic. Give structured way you have to frame questions. What all data, what all aspects you want to know. Based on that, you have to give a structured and customizable questions in that form. Okay. We can use Google Forms, isn't it? You just have to put the right type of questions there, and it is customizable because all forms can't be the same. Depending on the topic, the forms keep changing, isn't it? So they are customizable They are flexible also. Forms you can have as many questions as possible. If your survey is small, you can have only 10 questions. If your survey is very wide, you can have 20 questions. Some people even have 25 questions. Okay. So like that, depending on the necessity, you can use forms and questionnaires and distribute them to the people. Suppose I am doing an interview of the students, I can distribute forms to them and ask them to fill them. So after they have submitted, I can take all the data and put it in my file. Okay. Next, form builders. For using forms, you can use form builders or you can use polls. Sometimes when we do live sessions, we use polls. Everybody has a mobile, isn't it? So you just have to, you can use poll questions in WhatsApp also, isn't it? Just have to you put a question there and everybody will answer that. And it will give you the graph immediately. How many people said yes, how many people said no, how many people were not sure about the answer. Like that, everybody will, you can get data immediately in a poll. Okay. And there is a lot of survey software is there. You can use lot of tools are there which are available on internet to conduct surveys. And you can have a dashboard. Dashboard is a place where the entire survey information will be displayed there. Like a big pie chart, it will be there. 50% of people support this, 30% of people don't support it, the rest of people are not very sure about it. Like that. We have for our elections and all those things, they show them on TV, isn't it? There will be a dashboard. So, like that, we can have a dashboard for the surveys which we are conducting. And next thing is interviews, direct, online, and phone. We can conduct interviews directly. We can go to the people. If we have only few people, we can go to them directly and talk with them. You can record interviews so that you can rewatch and make points. That also is there. Or you can do online interviews by sending them through video calls. You can do that, or you can do a telephonic interview also. That is also accepted. All these three forms are accepted in research. Next, observations. Now, whenever you read, as I told you, you should make an observation and always note it down. Notes is very important for any researcher. Not just researcher, even for any type of educator, notes is very important. You should always note down what you have understood so that you don't forget and so that it will be systematic. When you talk about it at a later time, it will be very systematic for you to access the information and put it in an article or a thesis or any way. Okay. Next is documents and records. Always keep the previous sessions very carefully, because when you document something, it will be there forever, isn't it? So now when you document something, you can just put it in your mail or any place, or any in drive or anywhere, and it will be there for you forever. Whenever you want to access it, you can access it. Suppose I have conducted a survey in 2025. I can just put it in an archive and I can do one more study in 2030 and I can make a comparison with 25 and 30, isn't it? So, like that, always you have to be very careful with your records and documents, and always keep your documents dated. Put the date, be very careful, very meticulous. That is the first thing research teaches us. Research teaches us to be very careful with information, to be very systematic and orderly with information. Only then we can be successful researchers. So whatever little thing that you have found out, you please put a date and put it somewhere where you can refer in future. Okay. Next, focus group. Focus groups, some people have this. Mostly people don't, but in some subjects they have focus groups. Focus groups means they won't conduct interview to 100 people like that. They will take only 4 or 5 people. They will put all sometimes, and they will show the research findings only to them secretly, those 4 or 5 people, and then they ask their opinion because they will be 4 people will be experts in that subject, and they will ask them to review it and tell them how it is. So then the subject experts, without any bias, they will tell them the feedback, and depending on the feedback, they will try to make improvements in that research. So this is used in highly specialized subjects. Next is oral histories. Oral histories are used by people who work on very old civilizations, or for example, when I worked on Adivasis in North America, so then I took the help of oral histories because for them there is no script in the language. They have only oral language. So whatever history is there for them, they will pass it on from one person to the other person. There will be a group of people in the community who will record all the information in their own mind, and they will pass it on to someone later on. Like they will groom their successors. So that is how their information gets passed on. So these oral histories are also valid. What I'm trying to say is these are also as respected as books. A book is something which is published and kept. So these persons also, they are like open books. They are like walking books. They have the knowledge about their tribe, about those traditions, practices in their own minds. See, in our own families also we have elders, isn't it? We have grandmother or grandfather who carries the knowledge of the family, who carries the knowledge about the customs and traditions of our family, isn't it? So those are also data, and that is also data which can be used for research, which is recognized in research and which is respected in research. Okay, so that is also a possibility. Next is, yeah, combination. Combination is using one or two methods together. For example, you can use focus groups and interviews together. Okay, next is online tracking. Website records information. Online tracking means when you put information on a research website or somewhere you are taking information, you have to see, I told you about the date and how is it updated again, or is it verified by others, or is there feedback from others. If there is nothing like that, you can't take that information. That is not reliable information. You have to see these things before taking information. Is the website updated regularly? Is the website still there? Or sometimes there will be a website which they have stopped posting long back, some 4 or 5 years back, they have stopped posting, means you can't take such information. So always check and see if the information is real, if the information is current, if the information is valid. Otherwise, your information will not be valid. Okay? Next, online marketing techniques. You can use online marketing techniques like you can use social media and emails also to collect data. So you can post a question on social media and take those responses as a part of your research. Okay. But you need to post them to correct type of people. Otherwise, simply if some child answers those questions and you take that information, it is not very valid, isn't it? So you should post them to right type of people, to the people who are qualified. Okay. And social media monitoring. Now, sometimes if you put some information on internet, and there are many social media posts about it. Some people write comments, isn't it? So you have to follow the comments also and see how it is accepted, how much of it is supported, how much of it is not supported. That also you can see, and based on that you can take that information. If it is not supported by people, obviously it won't be of much use to you. Okay, next. Data collection tools. Now, let us see the tools, the actual tools which we use on internet to collect data. Tools for survey. For doing surveys, you can use Google Forms. Google Forms is widely accepted all over the world. Okay. Apart from Google Forms, you can use software like Question Pro and Survey Monkey. These two tools also will give you a lot of options to make forms. So you can use them, make forms, and send it to people to collect information. Next, for interviews and focus groups, instead of interviewing one person at a time, you can have a Zoom meeting with all the people together, and you can have the questions and answers very quickly. You can have, or you can use MS Teams. I have written only these two. There are many more like this. All of you know we have used them all in pandemic. So there is no need to explain further. On-field data. Now, if for some research, you have to go to the field directly and collect data. Okay, so for that you have Open Data Kit and RedCap. These two softwares can be used to make note of all the data that you are collecting. Mobile data collection. So if you are doing it on your mobile phone, you can use Kobo Toolbox and Survey CTO. These two softwares will help you to get your data very clearly. And next, data analysis tools. Once you have collected the data, after data collection, the data analysis is the next step. So for data analysis, you can use Tableau, SPSS, and Vivo. And for data management, you can use Airtable and MS Excel. Now, all these things, you have to put your data and you can generate graphs, you can generate pie charts, you can generate different tables which are useful for your research. Okay, so these are all the tools. Structure. Now, what is the structure of the research? The structure of the research is how it starts with title page. The title page will consist of the title of your topic and the institutional affiliation, from which institution you are working, and who is your supervisor, what is your institution. Those things will come under title page. And after that, you will have to write an abstract. An abstract is nothing but a tiny piece of introduction about your topic. How your topic is going to be. What are the aspects which you are going to deal with? These things you will put in abstract. An abstract is usually, it contains 250 words. Okay. Next is introduction. The introduction will give knowledge about the pre-research situation, how it was before your research, what are the aspects that you have taken care of, how you have conducted the process. So that will come under introduction. Now methods. Methods, you will write exactly what are the surveys that you have conducted, what are the experiments. Of course, if it is science, what are the experiments you have conducted, and how much time has taken for this, and what are the ways through which you have worked for it. Now, next comes results. What are the results you have achieved after doing the research? Now, after finishing the results, the next part will be discussion. In discussion, you will discuss about the results, how the results are, what are the advantages of it, what are the disadvantages of it, and what is the significance of your research. And basically, you will write the summary. The overall summary you will write in discussion. And next, last comes references. References is, I told you, no, each and every piece of information you have to write and keep where it has come from, who is the author, which date it was published, which site, website you have taken this. All these things come under references. There are many different types of reference tools, like you have MLA citations, you have IEEE, you have API, you have Chicago. So many types are there. So depending on your university, depending on what the university is asking for, you have to take the references. And next, if you are doing a quantitative research, a research which involves a group of people, and if you are taking that information, you'll have to have lot of quantitative data. You'll have lot of pie charts, tables, graphs. All these things come under that aspect. And finally, you have appendix. Sometimes your research may not provide all the necessary information in the thesis. Okay. So if you have any additional information to give to the people to understand your thesis better, that information will come under appendix. Okay? Yeah. Next, conclusion. Now, when you write conclusion, always summarize. Summarize whatever you have done, and whatever research question that you have taken in the first page, give answer to that in your conclusion. Propose recommendations. How better way you can improve the situation. And discuss the implications, how this is going to impact the future and how it is going to help the future researchers. And point out the limitations. This also we have to do very honestly. What we have researched may not be 100% complete. It may require more study. So that we have to accept that point very humbly and put it in the limitations. Okay. And next, please be precise in your research. If the university says you have to finish the thesis in 200 pages, finish it in 200 pages or 199 pages. Okay. So you have to be very careful with, sorry. Yeah. I told 150 pages, isn't it? So you have to finish it in 149 pages. So don't exceed the limit that is given to you. You have to be very concise, and concise way of presentation is very much appreciated in research. Okay? Yes. Now, if you have any queries, I'll be very happy to answer. Thank you.